listen, I love a good trip. I love booking the Airbnb, mapping out the coffee shops, taking the pictures, doing all the things. But the other day, I heard a comedian say that women are always running. They're always booking another girls' trip. They're always doing that. And it made me stop and think, like running away from their life. And I thought, oh my God. And then I just laughed. And then I paused a little bit because there's actually so much truth in that. It's not just in the trip itself, but it's in the way we actually keep chasing something outside of us. The way we keep chasing something, hoping it finally makes us feel the way we want to feel. And so today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, are you expanding or are you escaping? And no, this isn't about the actual trip itself. Because like I said, I just booked 2 Airbnbs yesterday. So it's not about the trip itself. It's about what it actually looks like and means to us. And this idea that we're always chasing something outside of us is so true. You probably don't even see it. You probably don't even see all of the ways in your life you're chasing freedom and happiness outside of you, because this comes in the form of relationship. This comes in the form of travel. This comes in the form of outcome in business and like being successful. We're always chasing this very elusive carrot of freedom and peace and just overall happiness. And it's always, always, always outside of us. And so going back to when I heard this comedian talking about this, like the reason why it was so true is because when you think about when we book something and that freedom that we feel when we were able to book it, maybe we have the money or maybe we get to spend time with people we really enjoy. All of those things get to stay the same. It's not like those are bad things to have. It's this idea that that's actually better than the life that you're living. And that's when things get a little murky because I love freaking Arizona. Sometimes I think life is better in Sedona. It's so much better when I'm chilling in Scottsdale, but it's really not better. It's not. It's just a different environment. And my peace follows me into a different environment. And then when I return home back to my life, it's not disrupted. My peace doesn't stay in those spaces. My happiness and my freedom doesn't remain in Arizona. It's with me. And I get to experience that level of peace and freedom and happiness and joy and all of those other human emotions that we have. I get to experience that in a different location within a different environment. That's all. And that's when it can be kind of confusing because, again, those things are fun. So we're not talking about not doing that. We're talking about why you need to have that to take a break from your life. And if you ever need anything, if you ever need a timeout, if you ever need something to break from your actual life, this is an episode you definitely need to listen to. Because we don't need breaks from our life. We need to find the peace within the chaos that's already created in the life that we have. And the more peaceful we are, the more muted the chaos is in the external world. It's how it works. So that also doesn't mean I get this shit all the time. People hate when I talk about this because they're like, no, it's chaos and I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, cool. We're not talking about you going out and changing the entire world. We're talking about changing your emotional state in reaction to the entire world. And when you can stay calm and peaceful and you're not disrupted in your suffering and the world can just be like blowing up around you, it doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're not human. It doesn't mean you don't have a preference, but it means you're so much more capable of actually being able to make a change because you are emotionally stable, period. That's all. But let's get to this point of, why are we always trying to outrun our life? Why are we always trying to create a different experience? Why can we not just be content with who we are? And what is this elusive carrot of peace and happiness that can never come? And like I said earlier, we give this away all the time. We give this away to a spouse or a partner. We give them our happiness. Like, our happiness is dependent on how they treat us. And we're giving our peace and our happiness away over and over and over and over again. Our peace and our happiness is wrapped up in if our boss tells us we did a good job, or if somebody acknowledges us, or if we get to this very elusive number that we think is our final success. And now we've created this business and life of our dreams. So now we can be happy. That's not how it works. Why are you doing that? Or are you constantly putting something outside of you? You don't have to live that way. So what does that look like? Okay, great, Kayla. Wonderful. I don't have to live that way, but I freaking feel it. That's how I feel. So why are you telling me I don't have to live that way? How do I change it? That's the real question of how do I be content where I am, where my feet are? Well, for one, you have to stop wishing things were different all the time. So for one, you need to recognize that you're building a life that you want to numb out from. So you're running away from your life and into something else. And you're putting the weight into another experience or another person. And that only belongs to you. And you have to be able to look at, am I doing this from an expansive state, or am I doing this from my fears and my triggers and my insecurities? What is it that's actually arising within me right now? And you have to answer that. You have to be so on point in this stage of the journey. You don't get the luxury of just unconsciousness. I mean, you do if you don't want to be doing it, but however, you're here. However, you're listening. However, you're on this journey. So you don't want to numb out to your life anymore. You want to lean into it. You want to experience life to the highest. You want to stop reacting to the world around you and not making so many things mean something about you that actually disrupts who you are. And again, in our relationships, this is so strong and it's so present. We just simply do this over and over and over and over again. So the one thing that you can do to turn this around, to shift the way that this is you have to say, what do I make this mean about me? Why is this my actual experience in life? Why do I need this? What am I disconnected from? What do I actually feel? And I want you to get really familiar with how you're feeling, what you're doing, what your reactions are, and what your triggers are, and what the emotions are that arise within them, and take wholehearted responsibility for it. 100% responsibility for what arises. And then you get to move from that. And then you stop running away from life. And then you stop seeing that there's an elusive carrot that holds a key to your freedom and your happiness, because it's simply not out there. It's in here. The only place that you have freedom is inside of you. And that's why you have to get it back. And that's why you have to understand what it is you're feeling. Period. That's it. What do I actually feel in relation to this? And why do I feel this sense and this need to run away? And this doesn't have to, it's going to be metaphorically run away, right? I know I started with the girls trip, but that was just as a reflection to see how we're constantly running away from our life. We're running away from hard conversations. We're running away from what we really want to create in our life. And you don't have to do it. It doesn't have to, not this time. You don't have to run away into something else. You can run into yourself, and that peace can carry with you for a long time if you allow it. The problem is that we don't actually know what peace feels like. We're so disrupted. We're so emotionally dysregulated. So many of these ups and downs emotions are so normalized in our society to even think about feeling a level of peace doesn't even feel like it's possible. And if I was to just offer it to you on a platter, peace wouldn't feel very peaceful. It would feel really uncomfortable because you're not used to it. You haven't really experienced it, because there's always this sense of chaos and challenge and struggle in our life that we're always having to work for and fight towards, but we don't have to do that anymore. So what does actual peace feel like for you? And if you can't answer that question, that is a place for you to sit down and ask, why can't I have peace in my life? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And if you say that somebody else stops doing this, or that something in the external world changes, and then you can finally feel peaceful, you're still in the same cycle. Still on the same cycle. You're still chasing the freaking elusive golden carrot that's not out there. It's a trick. It's a trap. It's not coming. If your peace is dependent on something else changes, you've missed the mark. I promise you. A lot of people don't like this. They really don't. And that's why we're going that deep today, because it's so much power and you have to stop looking outside of you. It's not in another course. It's not in another guru. It's not in another book. It's not in your partner finally doing something different. It's not in the girls trip. It's not anywhere. It's within you. You are your own peace. What does that mean to you? What does that mean? And what does it look like? And what does it feel like? And again, if you can't answer the question, how can I have peace right now without making it about something or someone else, you've missed it. So how do we shift that back to us? How do we shift that back to our own responsibility? How do we become this version of us that's absolutely unfreaking shakeable in our world, so we can do the good that we want to do, so we can show up in the spaces that we want to show up, so we can get the things that we want to receive in life, because it comes from a very neutral space, a very peaceful space. Now, I didn't even know where we were going to go with this conversation today, but we went there, right? We're going into this space, and this is where you have to really lean into tools, because every single part of you is going to want to push back and resist what we're talking about right now. We're going to say, you want to say, Kayla has no idea what she's talking about. Kayla is so disconnected. Kayla is all these different things. It doesn't even work like that. I can't just snap my fingers and get to this peaceful state. I don't even know what that means. And I promise you that you can. I promise you, if you do the work, you can be unshakable. You can be unrattled. You can be in a space where you are not triggered by the external world, and you have that inner peace and knowing. You have to do this step. So this is where the trigger response method really comes in. This is when we start to really realize that, okay, what are my triggers? What do I make them mean about me? What do I gain from this? How do I shift it? What's my different choice? Yeah, that's all great. But then we have to get into these other concepts, right? The other concepts that we talk about so much, which are like this radical responsibility, the fact that nobody has to be wrong, that everyone can be right in their own sense, whether you agree with it or not, whether you condone it or not. Everyone can have their own right. And it is such a powerful space when we remove that ego self and we step into the highest version of us, and we get to be so fucking free that everything just aligns. What would that be like for you? Can you feel that? Can you even touch it? I have an entire program that breaks this down. It's super, super short. It's some audios. I'm going to drop the link below. It's the Emotionally Unstoppable, that really breaks all of these concepts down in a way that is just next level powerful for you, because it's really hard to put it together in one, 15, 20, 30-minute podcast. It's like these concepts are so deep, and I know there's a part of you that is like just absolutely resisting it. But I see this all the time with clients. My clients are like, I can't be content with my life, because if I'm content, that means that I'm accepting what's happening in my external world. That means that I look around at any of this chaos or the mistreatment that I feel against myself or whatever, that if I become content, that means I become complacent. And that's not what it means at all. Being content in your life means that there's a deep inner peace. And when you're operating from a deep inner peace, you can actually change what's happening around you. And so that contentment is such a powerful space. And that's what my clients get to experience. And you don't know it, and you don't understand it until all of a sudden you experience it and you're like, oh shit, there it is. My gosh, that's what I've been looking for. You're not looking for the girls trip. You're not looking for the success in business. You're not looking for any of these different things. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for the peace and the contentment that I'm talking to you about right now. I promise. That is where my saying same shit, different package comes from, because that's what we're all chasing. Whether you see it or not, whether you admit it or not, whether you're truthful about it or not, that's it. We all want this inner state of just balance, and it comes with this work. It comes with the emotional intelligence, the identity that we attach to it, the way that we see it, the way that we experience our life, and creating the life that we don't have to run away from. And again, that doesn't mean that it's perfect. It means that we have done the work in our inner state. That's exactly what it means. And that is where you take your power back. That is where you create an entirely different universe and reality for yourself. And then that trickles out until to our actual manifested reality. So much power in that, but you have to start by doing this. So I hope that there was something that you take away from today. I'm going to drop the links that I talked about below so you can take this further, so you can open this up. If you have questions, as always, drop it below, because this is the time you get to change. This is your not this time moment. You don't have to fall back into these old cycles. You don't have to chase the carrot. Not this time. You get to decide pieces here. It doesn't matter what's happening around me. I get to set into my own peace. I get to create that. Not this time. I don't fall into chaos. I don't fall into the chasing and the seeking. It's already here and it's already present. So I want to know what stands out for you from this podcast below. Drop it in the comments here if you're on YouTube, or just email me, find me on Instagram, reach out. I want to hear this. I want to know your questions so I can answer those as well, because I know that there are questions around this. I know that there's resistance. So send that my way so I can start to build that for you and help you understand it so you can change your reality as well. I'll see you next week.